So for today's presentation, I thought I'd do something just a little bit different by actually building it in Weebly so that you can see a couple of the things in the Weebly space. So I've got a landing page for my home today, and really I just want to cover four things: physical addresses, image copyrights, file types, ordering, and then publishing, both republishing and unpublishing your site. So let's get started. First, physical addresses are often listed on resumes just as a default, but I want to remind everyone, especially you women out there, do you really want to post your home address on the internet? So make sure that you do a quick check of your resume and pull that information off. It's unnecessary that it be published on the web, and quite frankly, in a professional situation, you wouldn't want to make that information publicly available. Two is image copyrights, and as I've been conferencing with students this week, a lot of you are uploading images of your own work, whether those be screenshots or photos that you've taken. But sometimes when you can't quite find the image you're looking for, we tend to default to doing a Google search. But you need to realize that just because you can download an image from Google doesn't mean that that particular image is yours to republish again on your own website. Chapter 12 from the e-textbook that you've been reading this week, or will be reading this week, tells you why, but the CBS News article I've linked below also tells you where else to look. You can use Flickr as a way to source material from Creative Commons licensed images. This was the same thing that you used in SlideRocket when you did those searches, and so the same rule applies. If it's not yours, you need to be very careful about putting it out there with your name on it, especially in the web. It is a form of publication, and this is intellectual copyrighted material that these people have worked with. So make sure that you're using something that is sourced and described as being available for redistribution or republication. The easiest way to do that is to use the Flickr Creative Commons search as described in the article. A couple of things about file types. Many of the files that you've created you saved as a PDF for me to submit, and those are always readable. They're great whether you are on Mac or a PC. The portable document file format is very transferable. It's also in certain browsers like Chrome and Safari, when you attach a PDF file, instead of downloading it to the person's computer, it actually just opens in a new tab. So that's making it one step easier for your audience to put it in the PDF. I know that sometimes people are working with Excel spreadsheets and it can be difficult to try and convert that. So it's an okay file format, but it's not necessarily ideal, again, because once someone opens it in Excel, their standards may apply. Image files can also work. They're viewable, but since Weebly is an online space, if you want to attach an image, you might as well make it a screenshot image and show it, as opposed to making somebody download an image. As you can see here, it just seems odd to have it as a download file. Why not just upload it in its full form? Some file formats that there are no guarantees that your audience can open: Word documents, Pages documents, PowerPoint presentation files, and Publisher documents. All of these can be converted to PDF, and the PowerPoint presentations can also be converted into SlideRocket if you want to still maintain that slideshow feature. Again, you want to make sure that your material is accessible first and foremost, and the PDF is the safest way to do that. Finally, as you're finishing up, I want you to think about the order in which that you have placed the samples in your document. A lot of people start with a chronological, but that's often not the most appropriate way to place the information or to guide your reader through the work that you've done. A chronological for a sample student might have club sports that they've participated in for years. Then maybe last semester they worked on a business plan. This semester they've been in 302, so they've got those 5 assignments, and maybe they're currently working on an accounting project that's still not quite finished. The hierarchy, though, is perhaps a better way to do it, because the accounting project might actually be the most relevant, and so the audience needs to see that first and foremost. The 302 team presentation may have a sample from a course that is much more relevant to a WP Carey student, and it also talks about being a professional. The business plan might then also offer some financial information, and the interview article could be related to accountancy or the CPA. The flyer and the tweets may be showing a little bit of marketing process memo that you have the ability to write and communicate and adapt. And finally, the club sports are just something to round out the portfolio to show that you are a leader. So don't just stick to a chronological or the order that I put them in. Make sure that you're really thinking about a hierarchy. What's most important or most relevant to your audience? What would you like to show them first? What do they want to see first? And then work your way from there. Finally, I just want to mention publishing your website. If you type in the URL, you should see the web page much like what you're looking at here, without the bar across the top for the editorial bar. If you haven't published, when I go to enter in the URL that you submit, I'm going to get a Site Not Published page, and that's going to be very unfortunate because I can't grade that, I can't give it any feedback, and therefore it doesn't count as being particularly submitted. I have had students in the past who have not published the websites, and I can't pass you for 302. So absolutely do make sure that you have published your website, and every time you make changes to the website that you want me to be able to see, that you click that publish button again. Part of the reason for the forced publishing, where you have to sort of republish every time, is if you were a business and you were developing a page, you wouldn't want your customers to see it until it was absolutely finished, and that's why you have the control of the publication, so it doesn't go to the web until you say it. So that's all I have for today. I hope you liked this different style of presentation. Really what I wanted to showcase was that there is an ordering, and there are some ways to work with the navigation outside of just doing the top crossbars. If you noticed, I added that small button that said next page, next page, next page. If you've got longer pages and your audience doesn't want to scroll from the top to the bottom, you might consider adding a small navigational element to really take the you attitude and help them see how well put together your ePortfolio really is.